Welcome to Tales from South Florida, where we dig into the people, places, and unforgettable moments that make this area so wacky, weird, and wonderful. I'm your host, Bill Monty, and today we're going to talk about a day that most folks thought only happened up north and would never happen in the South Florida area. That's right, the day it snowed in Miami, and not just Miami. Broward County, Dade County. What? You saying you don't remember this? Or it sounds like the setup to a joke? Snowflake walks into a bar in Miami. Bartender says, "What do you have?" Snowflake says, "Nothing. I won't be here long." Yeah, that's right. Believe it or not, our tropical paradise once saw snowflakes swirling in the air. Today we're going back to January 19th, 1977. A day etched in the memory for those who lived it.
These are the tales from South Florida for you, with your host, Bill Monty.
Now, most of us know Miami and South Florida for its sunshine, palm trees, Cuban coffee, and beach days, not puffy parkas and frostbit toes. But January 1977 delivered an Arctic cold front that raced down the U.S. spine and reached Florida, delivering something no one here ever expected: snow in the air. On the day that I'm recording this, January 19th, 2026, it was exactly 49 years ago today that this occurred. Now, in case you're wondering if you weren't here, the flurries did not stick around for long. Most of them melted on contact, but the sight of them was enough to make all of our jaws drop. It was a Wednesday morning. It was between 8 o'clock and 9:30 a.m. that snowflakes were reported in Broward and Miami-Dade counties. Flurries were even seen as far south as Homestead, the southernmost snow ever witnessed in the continental United States. Local papers splashed the headlines, "Snow in Miami," that was in the Miami News, and "The Day It Snowed in Miami," from the Miami Herald. People ran outside with cameras, kids stuck out their tongues to catch snowflakes, and lifelong South Floridians crossed off something they'd never thought they'd see here. Some called it a once-in-a-lifetime miracle. Others, a freak weather gift. Now, I was 19, I guess it was, and I was attending Broward Community College, getting ready to go to classes. Woke up, and my mother came in and said, "You ought to come outside and see this." And I'm like, "What?" And she said, "It's snowing." And I walked out, and my God, it was snowing. Now, nothing that you could build a snowman out of, let me tell you, unless it was a little teeny tiny snowman. But there were snowflakes falling on the car, and yes, they were melting almost as soon as they hit. But for a very brief moment in time, we saw something down here we just hadn't seen before. One local person, Ken Wild of the Miami Springs Historical Society, remembered, "Our son Mike was 2.5 and eager to go outside in the cold. He was thrilled to see the snow and make that snowball on the hood of our car. Even if it melted almost instantly, the moment stuck with everyone who saw it." So what else was happening in Florida, in the United States, and the world on this eventful day? Well, while we were watching flakes flutter past palm trees, the world was doing its own thing. In Florida, well, it wasn't just a one-off whim of weather. That same cold wave froze temperatures statewide, causing widespread frost and devastating the crops, citrus, vegetable, flowers, to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. State leaders even declared 35 Florida counties as disaster areas. Across the nation, January 19, 1977 was the last full day of President Gerald Ford's administration, or as we like to call it, Woohoo Day. One of his final actions, this sounds like what Gerald Ford was doing. This is how important he was. Because one of his final actions was to pardon Tokyo Rose. If you don't remember Tokyo Rose, she was a controversial broadcast figure from World War II. Basically went around touting how awful Americans were. Why would he pardon her? Seems like a future episode. Also across the nation, January was one of the coldest stretches in recent memory. Temperatures plummeted from the northeast to the deep south. Snow fell where it normally never would, like in Miami, and millions of Americans were bundled up under blankets while we were marveling at a little tiny snowfall. On the world stage, January 1977 was seeing political shifts and geopolitical crises, from European aviation tragedies to Cold War tension. But here in the tropics, our biggest headline was snow. Not that we weren't used to snow in South Florida in 1977, but it usually wasn't the kind that fell from the sky, if you know what I mean, even though Miami Vice was still quite a few years away. But was this the first time it had ever snowed in South Florida? The answer is yes. Well, as far as official weather records go anyway. January 19th remains the only time snow flurries were widely seen in Miami itself. There were some rare unconfirmed flurries in January in 2010, but they were not officially recorded in the same way, and nothing ever stuck or made headlines like it did back in '77. Meteorologists say that because of our tropical climate, conditions for snow here are extraordinarily rare. So rare, in fact, that most locals before 1977 didn't even believe it could happen. Well, then what was the impact and outcome of this eventful day in Florida history? In the short term, that snowy morning didn't change Miami's culture. We still hit the beaches by noon. My class at Broward Community College, if I recall correctly, was archery, which was outdoors and which still was that day. But the economic impact was serious because of the extreme freeze and the crop losses. For locals, though, well, many still tell the story. I can guarantee you that today on Facebook, when I go on and look, there's going to be at least 30 posts with the headline, "Snow in Miami," and pictures of people with little tiny snowballs in their gloved hands. One person wrote, "I remember running outside and trying to catch snowflakes on my tongue. My mom still has the picture in a frame." These tales, whether a fleeting dusting or that miraculous half hour, are cherished memories for those of us who lived it. Today, the idea of snow in South Florida, it's part of the region's lore, a moment that still unites generations in shared astonishment. What makes this story so unforgettable isn't just the science or meteorology. It was the shared experience. Gotta remember, this was before social media. South Floridians don't see snow. We just tell stories about it. It becomes a part of our identity. It is a moment of joyful disbelief in a city that prides itself on sunny days and tropical nights. It's going to be cold again tomorrow, on the 20th, but I don't think we're going to see any snow. But wouldn't it be nice just one more time? Thank you for joining me on this chilly talk down memory lane. If you remember the day it snowed in South Florida or have stories from family or friends, please do me a favor. Drop a comment. Share it with us. I invite you to follow, to like, subscribe, and share this episode as well as the podcast so we can keep bringing you the best of South Florida's unforgettable moments. Head on over to the website, Talesfromsouthflorida.com, to relive more memories. And while you're there, check out our special Spotify playlist, inspired by the many episodes in the podcast. And if you want to support the show, there's links on the site too. Until next time, my friends, keep reminiscing, keep wondering, keep loving South Florida, and most of all, be safe and be kind.
Let's take a talk down memory lane, 'cause the stories around here are just insane. Pirates World, the Sporto and Wolfies too. Palm Beach to Key West, that's where we grew. These are the tales from South Florida for you. With your host, Bill Monty.
Hello, friends. Bill Monty here, and I'm inviting you to join me on the podcast, Bill Monty's Guide for Getting Older. Now, this is not a podcast about being old. No, it's about understanding the world we're growing older in, how we care for each other, how we protect what we've built, and how we make sense of the systems that are supposed to look out for us, especially when we need them the most. Bill Monty's Guide for Getting Older. It is available wherever fine podcasts can be found, and I look forward to talking with you soon.